I've got a cowlick from Hades. But we're not even going to pay attention to that because I've been so sick. I'm just happy to be up and moving. And I've cleaned a little bit of my house today, but so much more to go. But I'm trying to get caught up on all of my housework so that I can get started back on my crafts that I feel like I'm super behind on because that's what keeps me sane. Hey, Gypsy, I thought I'd pop on before I crash for the night because I had a productive streak this afternoon. Look at my hair. My hair's going crazy, y'all. Look at this. Look at this cowlick. Look at this cowlick. I look like a big old Hereford cow just come up and just slicked me while I slept. Oh, there. Now that's better. Oh, now who could do that without a straight iron but me? Hey. Okay, so I wanted to jump in and show you all kind of where I am. Now, it may look like I've not done much on this little guy, but I actually have because I decided to put a 9-patch lining on the inside because y'all know I'm a quilting fool. So, I thought that would just be cuter. It would make it a little bit more authentic, make it a little bit more hillbilly, make it a little bit more down home country, and it would also offer a little bit of an extra layer before that hide in case you put something sharp in there or you have to use this as a weapon and swing it and knock somebody out, which women have to do. Now I have to be careful because I still actually have the needle hooked to the string in there because I'm not done sewing. And then I took a pocket off a blue jean. And so on this inside flap in here, where I've got the lip curled over and you open it, I'm going to put this little blue jean flap so that if you've got a little chapstick or you've got a pair of sunglasses you don't want to lose down in your pocketbook, ladies, y'all know what I'm talking about. We lose our sunglasses down at the bottom of the pocketbook and then they don't never come back right. So I'm actually going to sew that into there so that you have like a chapstick, lipstick, compact sunglass pouch. Y'all, you can use these for so many things. I dissect jeans. I've been on a jean ramble to get enough jeans for Denise's jean quilt that I'm trying to do. And so I've been trying to use all the extra jean ideas possible. But this guy, he still has his friends on the side, but let me show you all what David, I'm still got to figure out something to do with this. It will happen, I promise. David cut me little bone rounds and little antler rounds and little antler spikes. And so what I'm going to do, I guess because I think women need to pack weapons or something, I don't know, is I'm actually going to, on all these little fringes, I'm going to lace these through and let them dangle a little bit. Then I'm going to wrap them in a very vibrant color. So it's going to have antler and bone dangles on the sides. And so I thought that would be another cute little authentic cut. Everything is made by my husband, hand by my husband, cut up by my husband, or put together by me. So I thought that would be cute. I think he's going to be at the True West Campground on the 17th. And I think Gypsy's coming to visit me right before that because I am so far behind in crafting. Oh my gosh, where I've been sick. If you all are wondering what happened to me while I was so sick, my RSD happened. As many of you know, I have reflex sympathetic dystrophy. It's very much like MS, except for it's like grumpier. And for some reason, we don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg. We don't know if I got a kidney infection or a UTI, which caused the RSD to swell, or the RSD swelled, which caused the bladder to have issues in the UTI. Whatever occurred, I had to do like 2.5 weeks of antibiotics, a bunch of different meds. My kidneys almost went into failure. And I was very, very sick. And for like 5 days, they were like, you're going in the hospital, you're going. And I was like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. And I got through it at home, but it was the most painful. I would rather have had a child naturally again. And I had my first child naturally. Nothing because I thought I was tough. Turns out I was just stupid. But I had my first child natural, and I would rather have been in labor again, because at least you know it's going to end at some point. I didn't know when this was going to end. So I was very, very ill. I lost like 11 pounds of fluid in 6 days from where I swelled so bad. Once the swelling started leaving me, I lost even more weight since then. Notice my double chin is getting less doubly. Look at that. If I happen to look a little tanner, it's because my husband took pity on me and smeared St. Tropez tan all over me the other day. He's not blind. He lived through it. He's okay. But I look pretty daggum hot right now. I'm just going to say, you know, I look pretty. And when I put on pink, it just makes me look tanner. And I don't look like a potato farmer no more. I don't look like my mother and her lovely olive Cherokee skin. But doggone it, if I have to fake it till I make it, that's okay. I'm trying to get better because my mother will be having knee replacement surgery later this month, and I'm going to have to be spending quite a bit of time down on the farm. So I'm trying to get to feeling better. The last 2 days, I have perked up exponentially, but I have to be. I know I'm on fire. I'm on fire. I'm hot. I'm such a nut. But I need to get to feeling better. So the last couple of days, I've done much better. I did finish this little dude. I painted his face finally so he doesn't look so woo. He does have raccoon coat, otter, a little bit of wolf that guy from North Dakota sent us, and beaver hair on him. He's wrapped. He's on a beaver chew stick. He's got a raccoon skull, which I did eat him up. The only thing I think I need to do is Mod Podge that. I did Mod, actually I think I've already done it. I Mod Podged the handle after I painted the handle. All the leather has had leather cement put on it. He does have antler and feather dangles. He does have an antler dangle here with his feathers. He is just something for a costume class, a grass dancer class, or a ceremonial stick to be used. So I didn't make him a rattle because the skull was not in the best shape to be a rattle. So, whew. As soon as I feel better, I'm going to try to go back to Miss Jan's, who is my purse making idol. And she's going to help me finish that beaver bag that we've been working on. That is, I just can't wait to get it done. I want to get it done so bad. But I have to wait until I absolutely feel like going. Just trying to get my house cleaned up right now. And luckily, the laundry and the dishes somehow stayed done. I guess I can attribute that to David. He's very helpful. He was also in the pool cleaning my pool yesterday so we can fill the pool up. The pool is actually now halfway full. We're just waiting on the new hoses because I split the hose last year taking it off because I am not inclined to do like any kind of mechanical work, and I completely split the hose. But they're on the way. Hey, Cindy. Hey, Ashley. And so the pool is almost done. So when Gypsy visits, we will be in the pool. But I've just got a lot of crafting to do and to get back to norm and to feel good again. And I tell you what, the first few days I had that I felt good again after about checking out, it would be nice if like my body would not try to kill me like every 3 months. It would be so nice. Oh, let me update you on the Medicaid scenario because I'm such a turd. I know I'm a turd. You don't have to tell me a turd. I will get on a microphone in front of God, Jesus, and the whole world and go, I am a giant turd. Because when I know I'm right and I've read it in black and white and I know the rules and I know you're violating the rules, I'm going to get up and I'm going to tell you about it. And I'm going to make you fix it because that is what is within my soul. I have this little banner that waves within my heart that says, oh, no, you did not. You're going to fix that. It's just the way I was made. I blame it on my mother, who was perpetually the most patient woman in the world. And I wanted her always to stand up, but she was so patient. And I thought, Lord, I love her patience, but I'm going to be the person that says, by golly, we're going to fix this. And so I am the person that does that. So I called them, and they kept giving me different reasons why I was rejected. Now, I know with mine and David's incomes, we're poor. We're podunk simple. If y'all see in the last video how simple we live, We don't have a lot of money, but we have a lot of happiness. Sometimes people think we have a lot of money because we're happy. Oh, no, 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 no. We're just as stupid. We're happy with nothing, okay? And let me tell you what, sometimes ignorance is bliss. If you ain't got a lot, sometimes if you can just be happy with what you got and not know what you're missing, you just have a whole better life. I mean, it's just a whole better existence. And that night he was grilling on the barbecue, he was grilling deer burgers. It was not beef, y'all. We are cheap. We are poor. And it was deer that he killed and cut up and processed himself. So we're a different breed of people, okay? Be happy with what you got. Don't covet your neighbor's crap. I wouldn't covet my neighbor's crap anyway because, whoo, anyway, side note. But I knew that they were lying. I knew that they were flexing and mending. And y'all, I'm retired law enforcement. I don't flex and mend. It's black and white. Gray is not an area I like to live in. I did a lot. I lived there a lot when I did counseling. But when it comes to the law, it's black and white. You either read it or you don't. And then you go before a judge. But I read it. I knew what they were doing was wrong. And so I threw a hellacious fit because it's what I do best. I am trained to prosecute warrants. And if I was still able, I would still be working and I would still be prosecuting warrants. But here I sit disabled and poor as a church mouse, but that's okay. I'll make the best of it. So I got on there and I was talking to them. They kept giving me different reasons as to why I was not approved. All the reasons would not hold water in a court of law. And I told them that. I said, let's just go to court. I feel the need to sue you. I think that you are trying to financially extort the poor people. I think that that's why you put me on your federal roster, but you didn't put me on the billable account. You got the federal funds, but I couldn't access them, and I had to pay $6,000 for a Plan G that I should never have had to pay for. I think you screwed me over. I didn't buy stock in Vaseline as a young woman, so I'm not going to have this, okay? And let me tell you what, if I had the money, I would buy all my grandchildren that are coming into the world stock and Vaseline just as a joke. I am that grandma. Well, they didn't like the sounds of that because I started using legal terms and they knew that I was aware of the law. Now, I may be stupid. I may twang. I've got a lot of useless knowledge in here from a lot of years of prosecuting warrants. I'm not as stupid as I sound. I like to play stupid. It gets me a lot of places. It gets me a lot of information. And it gets me a lot of knowledge most people don't want me to have. I pay attention. I play stupid and I win. It works. So I started talking to him like I was prosecuting a violation warrant for a parolee. And I just started laying out my case. And all of a sudden they said, oh, wait, we may have made a mistake. Let me put this in appeal and review. In less than 12 hours, it went from denied to approved. Now, how can you review something in 12 hours? That was at 4:30. Between 4:30 p.m. and 4:30 a.m., somebody was at work and reviewed that? No, I'm sorry. I didn't fall off the turnip truck yesterday. So we all know that they were playing a game. My concern is how many people are they playing this game with that don't know the law, that just think these people make the right decision all the time, have all the knowledge, never make a mistake, and don't have any other motives. Let me tell you what I found out about the government. The only motive they have is for themselves. So I don't play that game. When it comes to the government, I am the banny rooster that's going to flog them every time they come in my yard because I don't trust them as far as I can spit. So every time, and yes, I'm blessed and fortunate to have this aid after paying $6,000 last year that like to kill us. I'm blessed and fortunate, but it should not be this hassle. A federal funded program meant to help people that are applicable within this financial domain, which I fall into, should not feel like it shouldn't feel like a prison sentence that you're serving and that you're trash and they're bestowing something upon you that you don't really deserve. And they make you feel like crap. And so I had some not so nice words with them. And I'm glad they recorded every conversation, and I hope they use it in all their training formats because I schooled them. But lo and behold, I got approved in 12 hours. And then I've had to call back twice because they've sent me letters. They're like, oh, we sent those before the review. You're fine. You're covered. Disregard those. You're fine. And I was like, it's just, it's such a stupid, it's such a stupid game that they play with people and with people's emotions. And and I told them several times, because they were like, well, we think you have just a little bit too much money in your bank account. And I did. I said, okay, so the women that go out and get $70 manicures and $125 hairdos and $300 extensions and wear $125 shoes and $200 breeches and have all this Tiffany jewelry, and all their kids have the latest gaming software, and they live in Section 8 housing, but they're spending all this money on themselves. So you're going to reward them because they put their money in places it shouldn't go. And you're going to punish me because I'm sick. I might need to hang on to that. I might have an emergency. I might need to put that away. I think that really rung their bell a little bit, because I said, I feel like I'm being punished for being responsible, and that you are simply trying to attain a new demographic that feels obligated to, towards you, and that will do what you ask. And so every few years, you're going to ask them to vote a specific way, and they're going to vote a specific way, or you're going to threaten to take away, these benefits. And I said, I don't roll that way. It's in black and white. It is a financial, you are determined if you fit into this financially. It's not who you vote for, and it's not how you live, and it boggled my mind. And I said, I think that you take this out on people that are rural, that have no hospitals, have no EMS to speak of, have, you get flown in or flown out, and that's about the only way you can get treatment around here. I think you take advantage of those people, and then you really just pile on the benefits to the people in the city that have all these other benefits. We don't have food pantries. I think we have one church that gives away food. We have one area about a half-mile away that will give you a box of food, but it's not commodities, once every 6 weeks. We don't have benefits here in rural Appalachia because they say they're sending us money, but it never gets here. And as an Appalachian my entire life, let me just tell you, they lied from the get-go back in the coal mine days when they said they were going to help Appalachia. They sent new shoes to children who could go barefoot all summer just fine, but needed boots for winter. But what did they send? They sent like cloth tennis shoes to kids in Appalachia, thinking that they helped them. Well, those cloth tennis shoes, when you walk to school, soak up the snow and freeze your feet, and you have frostbite, you dumb pieces of crap. I mean, it just shows how the government does not think. It just shows the ineptitude. I worry. I worry. I mean, I know I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I worry about this nation because I've seen some really stupid stuff. And I wish that I was capable, and I wish that my body had not crapped out, and I wish that I hadn't got attacked at work and gotten injured, because I would love to make my own way and never have to deal with anyone like this. But knowing me, I would still see someone else struggling and pick up this fight, because it's just who I am. It's just who I am. I hate to see people taking advantage of it. Pisses me off. And so I'm just one of those people. So, yeah, real and true dealings wouldn't hurt. I'm here to tell you, if we all start speaking up and saying our piece, even if it's not in the nicest format, if you could just say it without being hostile, but get your point across with a little aggression, the world would change. The world would change. Because basically it only takes, as I've told you all many times, 5% to change the shift in the dynamic of the world. It's just the loudest 5% that get it done. And we're being too quiet. And I'm not saying go out and be physically violent. That's not necessary at all. That's stupid. That'll just put you in the pokey, and then you'll be an echo pod with somebody that'll probably kill you in your sleep. Don't do that. It's not a good place to be. But you need to voice your opinions. You need to voice your concerns. You need to have a voice. You need to feel that your perspective is just as important as anybody else's. And if you don't feel that it is, why in the heck are you living in America, where you're allowed to say and do? Because if you're in America and you're not using your God-given rights, then you're actually helping shut America down. So get out there and talk. What's the worst thing? They can't eat you. Well, I'm mad at you. I don't like what you're saying. But go home and cry about it if I hurt your little sphincter that much. I have an opinion too. Opinions like buttholes. Everybody has them. Some of them stink. Get over it. We have to learn to get along, and we have to learn to share our passions and our topics and our misgivings and our misunderstandings. We have to learn to talk through them all. And I really hope that America turns to a better place. Because I just feel like it's just like spinning around, fixing to go down the septic system. And there ain't going to be nobody come pump it and save it. Let me just tell you. It's just going to be gone. And so I just want people to speak up. And so when you see things that are not right and are going on, speak up. Because if you don't speak up, then you're just as bad as the people that are doing these horrible things. If you know it's wrong and the good Lord has given you the compassion and the feeling and integrity to know that that's wrong and you don't speak up, that's a mark against you from the good Lord, because he gave you the knowledge to intercede in that. And you said, no, I'm not going to obey your command. And yeah, sometimes I take it a little far and the good Lord goes, hey, Elizabeth, would you stop? Just chill, slow down, rein her in. And I have to listen. But for the most part, I try when I feel that I'm supposed to go after something and make a point, I try to always go after it. Does it end well? No, it doesn't always end well. No, it doesn't always end. Like me trying to be concerned about Ryan. Like all the things I said about Ryan back in the winter when he was going through all that, it was all true. And then the culmination happened and we see the family had this huge, and I said, this is a family in crisis. Something's going on. And then everybody's like, oh, you shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. Don't talk bad about Ryan. I wasn't talking bad about Ryan. I was talking about the scenario, the situation, and the information he was giving us and the words he was stating. And it told me that there was a crisis momentum going on. How dare you say that about him? I said it, but the boy knew it. He knew what was going on long before I said it. And then we see what happened and all that. There are still people that will hit my videos about Ryan and go, you're a horrible, hateful person. You're not a true friend at all. And I'm like, why would you even think I'm a friend to somebody that I've only talked to like 2 or 3 times, like very small, like 2 small little Instagram phone video calls and like 2 text messages? And it's like, why would you think I'm a friend with someone like that? And number 2, why would you think that that's what you're supposed to be with someone who's in a fame role? You're supposed to be a fan, a supporter. There is not a friendship. Y'all are getting too intertwined in these people's lives. Look at it for what it is. Learn what you can from it and go on, because this boy that's making gazillions of dollars does not need you working 40 hours a week trying to help him. He's got it under control. The boy is capable. And that's not me being mean. That's just me being honest. The boy is capable. He just went down the wrong road, let people take advantage of him and surround himself by some bad people for a while. And he had to make amends and change things. I think he's done a good job. I think he's changed a whole lot. I'm happy to see Ripta back in his little friend group. I think Ripta's a solid person. I think he's doing great things. The last song he dropped today or yesterday, I love the vibe of it. But my God, you can't have a contrary view. You can't have a contrary opinion. You're a horrible person. And I am so ashamed to live in a nation where people are so freaking butthurt. It's like I posted in an oddity group the other day, my wolf bag, my Cody bag that I'm making. And this woman who had joined an macabre and oddities group was like, that's horrible. How can you call yourself a good person? And I said, do you think people go out and traipse through the wood and find these freaking things? Are you that stupid? How many times have you taken a hike and just come back with a basket full of dead bones that are perfectly clean that you can turn into something? Never. Okay, it takes a special kind of person to know how to do this. And these people that say ethically found, they don't go on walks and find things. I've lived in Appalachia my entire life. I've ginsenged, I've hiked, I've deer hunted, I've raccoon hunted, I've hog hunted. I have literally ran across maybe 7 skeletal remains in my entire life, because when animals die, the earth reclaims them very quickly. So these people that think people are just ethically finding these things and turning them into beautiful, read a book. Look at nature and the reclamation of body and body mass and fats and proteins and bone. Put a wrinkle in your brain. I get so irritated, and it's not that they get mad. They have every right to get upset with me if they don't like it. What irritates me is they won't take 5 minutes to educate themselves to understand that they have a flawed premise of understanding about nature and the way nature absorbs what passes away. And that these things do not just lay around for years and years and years waiting for people to find them. And they don't turn pristine white and beautiful waiting for someone to find them and turn them into something. You have to clean them, pull out the corpse wax, sanitize them. You have to do all of this work. And so I was just like, why are you on this channel? Why are you on this page? Why are you looking at people's made stuff from found items or items that they, process, that they don't waste anything? And how about patting me on the back for not wasting this lovely animal that, number one, had to be trapped because it was a rogue or transient causing a lot of beef for a farmer? Or how about you take 5 seconds and research conservation and who provides the funding for conservation, because it's like 90% plus comes from hunters and trappers and fur harvesters that pay for all their licensure and have extra things to where they donate, charity funds to this. We love our animals. You all know I love my animals. I name them. I get attached to them. Sometimes I have to keep them after I create these things because I feel a bond with them. And so, I don't know, it's just been like, maybe it's because I'm feeling better, but it's been like, boy, the amount of stupid people I ran into the last few days. But now, I did get kind of hateful with the girl that sassed me about Ryan. I told her she could go climb up somebody else's AWS because I wasn't having it. And that's just where I was that day, y'all. I'm not always Ray Sunshine, and I have a very hard side to me. That's how I supervised murderers for a decade. But there's been a lot happened in my life in the last couple months that I don't appreciate. And I'm trying to be more appreciative of the good things and spend more time outside and grounded and doing things that I enjoy. They are clueless. There are so many girls. I'm like, how long do you think it takes nature to reclaim an animal after it dies? Oh my God, months and months and months. Like months and months and months. Literally 7 to 10 days, and you will have a hard time seeing anything but the skeleton because everything comes out to feed and just devour, and it just melts into the earth. And then in the wintertime, when squirrels and other animals like that need extra calcium and run out of food, they will actually eat the bones. So that's why it's hard to go shed hunting and find sheds, and it's hard to find bones in general because animals consume them for extra calcium and food during the winter. And I say these things and people are like, and how do you know that? I grew up in Podunk. I spent more time in the woods than I probably have inside an air-conditioned home. Believe you me, when you grow up on farms, you know how things decompose. Because every once in a while, your favorite heifer dies unexpectedly, or your sheep just decide to pass out. And, sheep are the most cantankerous animals. They will just die on a whim. And if one dies, they're like, oh, George died. Oh, and they die too. And sheep are just so passive aggressive. It's pathetic. And you have to haul them to the sinkhole. Every farmer has a sinkhole. And you know how these things decompose. And lots of times as a child, if we had a mare that died when she was trying to have her baby, or we had the weanling die, we would normally go back and get the skull and clean it and paint it. And that was just something, for us, it was a way to honor that mare that we may have had for 10, 12 years that was a good producer for us and that we loved, or it was a way to honor that little baby that never got to see the world and enjoy and run in the pasture and enjoy life. And so we would go back and reclaim the skull, and we would clean it and paint it and kind of give him a place of reverence in the barn. And we thought about those little animals, and we cared about our brood mares, and we had like cameras in all the brood mare stalls so you could watch them all when they were in labor. But you can't always catch a problem. Mares sometimes look normal, and then sometimes they'll just have a hitch in the middle of labor and something wrong happens, and you just can't save the baby. Even though the vet's on 911 call and can get there in 7 minutes, sometimes things go wrong. And when I worked all these farms, we lost a few. That's how we would kind of work through our emotions or grief, because it hurt us to lose either the mare or that foal. That was money, and that was something that we were emotionally attached to. And so you have to haul them off. That's why everybody has a front end loader or a tractor. You have to haul them off to where they can decompose. But lots of times we would actually go back and get the skulls and clean them out and give them a place of reverence and paint them. And if they were paper horses that had names, we would go ahead and give him the name that we were going to paper him with and write it on the skull and paint it. And he would have a place in our barn, and we would remember that little weanling that never got to enjoy life. And I can't believe that people think that that's mean. Because you think back how the Indians put their beloved on platforms and would go back every year and rewrap them and make sure that nothing had disturbed them. And if the clothes had been gnawed by animals, they would reclothe them and rewrap them and make sure they were safe. Caretaking of the dead is not done anymore. So I guess people think that's strange, and I think, people probably just don't understand that. I think that is because as a society, we don't have a depth anymore. We don't have a depth. We think everything that means anything is right now, and we don't understand the future. We don't understand what's to come after we're no longer here. And we don't even want to think about it. And so we're so entrenched in the here and now that we fail to think that other people actually do, think about other things. There's something squeaking in my kitchen. I'm trying to figure out what it is. Oh, well. But anyway, that's my rant for the day. That's been on my heart for a couple of days as I've been working on these bags and had some people be nasty to me. I've had a lot of really positive remarks too, though. So, and I really appreciate that. I have people that get it. I have people that are like, you handle the animal with care. You love it. You want it to look good. You want it to last. You want to educate people. That's great. So we have a couple of vendor sales. I say we. David, I don't know if I get to go because my health has been so craptastic. But David has a couple of vendor sales he's going to, and I really hope that some of the things I've made get good vibes. Normally, we get 99% good vibes. I hate to think that I send something that's going to make David get a bad vibe, because my husband is really quiet. And he looks kind of hateful on a good day, so most people leave him alone. But I hate for somebody to really go off on him when I'm not there, because I am the person that will back people up and send them on their way. And he'll just tell them to get, And so I'm hoping that he does not get attacked for the things that I've made, as, because when I'm sick, I sit and think about stuff to make. And so I've made some strange things. It's paralyzing the amount of stuff they let filter it is. They are clueless. See, I grew up in, my brother did taxidermy my whole life, so I grew up doing taxidermy too. So it's just like, perhaps it's just because I'm so desensitized, but I really think that everyone should understand what happens to the body breakdown as it decomposes and you return to the earth. Because it is not a mystical, magical thing. It is a very natural, kind of grimy, still beautiful, but quick thing. And it feeds and helps the earth, a lot of animals, a lot of insects, bugs, And it's not this, we're not sending people off on a Viking ship to, flaming arrows, and that's not real. And every time I watch that, I'm like, there's not enough kindling there to burn anybody. What are they? Anyway, you can't watch movies with me because I will call everything out. But I wish people would take more time to understand nature and how nature actually works. And if you're going to have a beef with somebody, have an educated beef, because stupid people really annoy me. And as I get older, the less cushion my belligerent brain gives me. So dust to dust. And I told my husband I don't want to be buried in a box. I'm claustrophobic. Just even the thought of me not even being down there, but being down there, even just having something that I used to inhabit being in a box. No, thank you. I don't like tight spaces. No. I don't even like MRI tubes, and I've had to be in several of those. I'm like, no. Put me in a cardboard box and incinerate me. I find some kind of peace to know that there will be nothing organic of me left on this earth. It just, poof, I'm gone. I think that's awesome, because, I don't want somebody digging me up in 1,000 years going, there's a very heavy set fat lady that had 2 very bad knees. Because I will be somewhere up above going, you put my knees back. Don't you talk crap about me. So that's just how I would be, and so I'm just one of those people. And David's like, you don't even want a nice casket? No, I don't want a $3,500 box that's going to go in the dirt. It's like, why would you pay $3,500 for a box that's going in the dirt? And did you know that cemeteries have the most toxic soil, and that it actually seeps into all the surrounding areas? And that's why they put them in very specific places, and while there are only certain things around them. And lots of times there are certain things that are not allowed to be around where the cemeteries are because of the toxins that seep out of the bodies into the dirt. I'm sorry, I don't want to poison the land any more than I have to. Just, incinerate me and let me go. I'm cool with that. I fly away. Just, I will really. I fly away. Let me go. But it's a huge expense. And I know that funerals are for the living and not the dead. But I'm going to have my say so. So there will be a list. Don't you dare put me in. I was talking to a gypsy the other day, and somebody said they want to be buried in satin. Satin has no stretch. And I'm sorry, but my grandmother used to sing this song called I Won't Have to Cross Jordan Alone, about how when you die, you got to cross the River Jordan and the good Lord meets you halfway. How can you cross the Jordan in a satin dress that's going to soak up all that water? You're going to split every seam you got in. You better bury me in some elastane or polyester with elastane or some spandex, honey, because I'm going to need all the give I can get, okay? Let's just say that. Better yet, a good jersey knit that I can wring out when I get to the other side of the shore. It'd be perfect, because I just, I have this picture, and I know it probably will not be what I expect when I croak, and that's fine, but I just have this picture of these women that are being buried in these big taffeta satin dresses, just like not doing well, trying to cross the Jordan. And I think of my grandmother singing that song. And then I remember that my mother and father picked out grandma's dress. And grandma had kind of helped pick it out too, because she was older. And I was like, at least it was flowy. And yes, I have a morbid sense of humor. I understand. But I literally, at my funeral, I want people to laugh. And I done told my doctor, listen, when I croak, after I've been through all of these horrible, huge issues that I've been through that should have killed like an elephant, and somehow I survived, I'm like, it's going to be a splinter in my pinky toe that gets infected that takes me out, and I expect you to laugh. And he's like, Elizabeth, and I'm like, because I would be laughing. Because I've lived through so much. It will literally be a hangnail that gets infected that kills me. You wait and see. Y'all wait and see. It'll be something stupid that takes me out. Like after I've lived through so much with this disorder and I fought all these battles, it would be something so stupid that takes me out. And y'all better laugh about it because I'm going to be laughing. Y'all better be laughing. Somebody better be toasting me that I was right. She was right. Ching. And y'all better have some fun with it because I'm going to be fine. Don't worry about me. I'm going to be up there giggling because it's going to be funny to me too. It's really probably going to be like, see, I told you. And then I'm going to be like side-eyeing Jesus going, that was not fun. Little warning would have helped, you know. And then I'm going to find Eve and I'm going to smack her for all of us. I'm going to smack her. I don't care if there's no violence in heaven. I'm going to smack Eve. So when I find Eve, I'm going to smack her, okay? So if y'all have animosity, but you can't like act out that animus, don't worry. I'm going to find Eve and I'm going to smack her for all of us. I might even like right hook her. So I got you. Girls, women, I got you. I got you. We're going to have a WWE, me and Eve. I've done set that one up in my mind. And then I might smack Adam just for not keeping his woman in line. You know? I mean, good Lord. He should have seen that one coming. But anyway, that's my thoughts I've had the last few days. And I've not been able to share them, so I had to get on here and brain vomit. Tell y'all that I've gotten a few things done. I do have several other things going, but they're in between stages. I've got the craft doohickey thing back here painted, and I've got the first layer of stuff on it. It's not turning out the way I want to, so I'm going to try fabric glue, or I may try a peel and stick wallpaper backing for the backdrop. I'm just going to try something until it works. I am nothing if not persistent. So when I get that finished, I'll show you what it looks like. But I was so happy to get out and mill around the yard yesterday and make that video and let y'all know that I was up and I was going and my spunk and my mischief is coming back and I feel better. Bad tacos. No, it'd be the gas store burrito. It'd be the gas store burritos. It'd be the gas store burritos. It'd be the 7-Eleven burritos. Cindy, is it not awful how much it costs to say goodbye to your loved ones? It's like, oh, and while they're at their most weak emotional state, let's hammer them with another financial obligation. I just think there's so much in the world that could be remedied by simplicity. Like literally right across the road over here, there was this old man that had lived on his property his whole life, and he had it written. He owns the land. Now his family owns the land. He had it written in his will. He wanted to be buried on his land. And by golly, they had to bulldoze his house, and his land is now vacant. But his gravestone, he's there. He's buried. So when you drive by, you're like, hey, Earl. That was his name, Earl. You're like, hey, Earl. He's buried right there, 50 foot from the road on the front side of his property. And I'm like, you go, man. You own that property, and you put yourself there. You go, man. That's, And he was buried, not in a coffin, but in like a basket, like a wicker basket, not embalmed. He had to be buried so deep, but not embalmed, and it was a natural burial. And the family my husband has dug many graves in his life, but the family got to dig the grave. They got to clothe him. They got to dig the grave. They got to help place him in the basket. They got to lower him, and they got to fill in the grave. Can you imagine the closure that you get from taking care of your loved one that is passed? By doing that, we isolate people from death so much that we fear it. But if you actually come and see it and you're aware of it, you lose a lot of the fear about it. And his granddaughter that I've known her entire life got so much closure from being able to help in that process. And so when I drive up and down my road, I'm like, hey, Earl, what you doing, Earl? Hey, Earl. Your apple tree put out good this year, Earl. Good job. And it's just normal here. It's a normal way of life here. And so I'm like, I think natural burial is probably a much healthier emotional response than the pageantry we put on today with people. And I'm not like as far on this as like the Ask a Mortician lady. She gets a little too far, like composting people and then spreading them and mulching and growing things. No, I'm sorry. I don't want my salad to have ethyl in it. I'm sorry. I could draw the line there. I don't want Ethel in my salad. But like, if you have land and you want to start a family plot and you want natural burial, hey, I'm all for that. Now, would I want to be buried on my land here? No, because I don't think that my family will maintain this land after we're gone, because it's not in like a good spot to be. It's not like an heirloom property. Would I possibly want to be buried down the mountain on the family farm? Yeah, maybe. There's options. I have got 3 cemeteries. I've got a large family, so I've got 3 cemeteries where my family are all buried. And so one's up here on top of the mountain, which is about 2 miles from my house, and one is way down the mountain, which is like 20 miles from my house. And then one is smack dab in the middle of town with some of the oldest graves in it. I actually did a video way back in my YouTube page where I went to the grave of Cal Logston and told his story. Great video if you've never heard the history. Freaky, awesome, true, go watch it. But, I think natural burial, is probably a big positive for families. And, I talked to my mother about that, but with Granny, but my mother is very entrenched in formality. And I love her, but she's one of those very prim proper she's like when Miranda Lambert sings that this ain't your mother's broken heart. That's like me and my mother are complete opposites, but somehow we gel really well together, but we are complete opposites. And she's very hung up in formality and presentation, and I'm just like rolling through like a tumbleweed, just having a good old time. So irritate my mother to death sometimes. Well, yeah, at least if you leak, it won't be formaldehyde. And the things that you leak are actually natural things that the earth uses. And so it's things that the earth absorbs and turns into other stuff. So all that carbon and all that, it turns into better things. Instead of poisoning the ground, you're actually enriching the ground. And so I just think it's a much better option. It's a morbid topic and a lot of people don't like to talk about it. But something? I have been so close to death so many times in the last 10 years. It's just something I just deal with, And my son was like, Mom, are you not scared? And I'm like, no. And he said, why? And I said, well, the one time that I was really, really, really sick and the doctor for 5 days was like, we don't know if you're going to get through this. You need to call your family and you need to see them every day. I was so weak and I was so sick, and I knew how sick I was because I didn't care. I was just there. But internally, I had this preparation to go somewhere. Like my body and my mind, the energy was preparing to go somewhere, and it wasn't somewhere scary. It was somewhere that I felt I'd already been. I was not scared at all. Matter of fact, I was the calmest I think I'd ever been in my life. And so that says something. But it didn't bother me. I was okay. And I thought, if I don't make it out of here, I'm okay. I'm going somewhere that my body is prepared to go. So after that scare, I had a whole different relationship with death. And it's not something I look forward to. I don't want it to happen anytime soon. But I looked at my son and I said, death is the second most natural thing that you do in life behind being born. And he said, does it hurt being dead? And I said, well, when you were not born, did it hurt not being born? He goes, well, no, I didn't exist. And I said, well, you just don't know if you existed or not. And I said, but do you remember any pain? Do you remember? He goes, no. And I said, so what makes you think there would be something after? Something painful after? And he's like, oh. I said, maybe, we're given that, we don't always remember, because we're not meant to remember. But I told him, I said, I will tell you that when, and the week that I was so sick was the week that he proposed to his girlfriend. And he was trying to put it off. And I was like, no, you have to live your life. You have to go do this. And all the time knowing that I may not last the week. And I did, because I'm stubborn. But I just don't know. I just felt like my body knew where it was going. Well, not my body, but my soul knew where it was going. So I had no fear. And I've not really had a fear since then. New Zealand, how you doing? Way down yonder. That's about as far around the globe as you can go before you start coming back this way. I bet you I sound real funny to you. Cindy, I think the way that people handle death, especially cultures, if you go into anthropology and you look at the cultures and how they handle this and the different way that they revere death and talk about it and raise their children, like in certain, is it Central America or is it over toward Thailand? I can't remember. I've slept since then. They actually prepare their dead parents, and they prepare them daily, and they keep them in the home in their coffins open for viewing, and they keep preparing them daily. And it's amazing how they can keep them looking decent. And they keep them for up to 2 to 5 years until they're ready to hang them in their family catacomb plots on the sides of cliffs. And people will still come over and see them, sit and talk to them. And at dinner, plates are set in the room with them. And they still treat them as part of the family. And we have such an ironic way in this country, you're dead, you're gone. And it's like, no, you're not. No, I'm like, I feel my friend that passed away a couple years ago all around me all the time. And I get the biggest kick out of it sometimes because I know I get little messages from him. And I've been that way my entire life. But I was talking to I have one cat left that's too stupid to go into the cage to get caught to go to the barn with all the other cats that got relocated to the barn. Phantom, bless his heart, he's stupid. He's not the smartest cat, but he's sweet. Well, my best friend called all of his cats Muzz. He'd be like, what's the matter, Ma? Oh, I love my Ma. And I call them kitty kitties, or I love the babies, or, I never called him Muzz. And I was just out there talking to this cat. And in my mind, I was thinking he would have loved the coloration of this cat because he's got like a Phantom of the Opera half calico face, and then he's like Pet Cemetery gray. And I said, you're a pretty little Ma. And then I stopped. And then I grinned really big. And I was like, well, that was funny because I never would have said that. And so I was like, okay, yeah, he probably really thinks my cat's cute. Everything that he had bought to support my children in their endeavors, like my son's chainsaw carving and stuff like that, his brother returned to me. So I have all the stuff that he supported my children with is now returned to me, and it's on my porches, my patio. And I'm like, oh, he loved my children. And he's never far away from me. And Lord help me, if I hear James Taylor, which was his name, if I hear James Taylor sing Sweet Baby James, I will bust out into the most ugly cry, but it's a happy, ugly cry. But if I hear that song, you better prepare. Like if I've got my music roaming and it goes through that song, David will get up and leave the room because he knows I'm going to just bawl. I'm going to bawl because I miss my friend. But at the same time, I still feel him around me, and I still sometimes know what he would have said in certain situations. And I know, especially when I'm very sick, and he was a nurse. So when I've been very sick, I have kind of like heard him in my head be like, you need to get your butt up and do this, or you're not going to get any better. And I'm like, okay, And when I was sick this last time, I dreamt a lot, and I dreamt a lot of him, and he was coming and checking on me. And it was so strange because he was like, no, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. And I was like, what's not it? What is not it? And that was before the blood work had come back. And then the blood work came back, and they had me on the wrong antibiotic, and they had to change the antibiotic so that it would actually deal with the infection that I had. And so just strange things happen like that all the time. And, but we treat death so strangely in the United States. And honestly, I think it's just a marketing ploy. It's a financial ploy. It's stupid. It's stupid. It's stupid. Read about it. Learn about it. It's going to happen to everybody. It's the second most natural thing you're ever going to do other than being born. And while it's, not anything to really look forward to because you want to live a long, happy life and be with the people that you love, don't fear what you don't know, because, there's a lot of stuff we don't know. We don't know what a corn dog at the county fair tastes like, but by God, we're going to eat one every time we go, ain't we? So we find these little gems in life that we don't exactly understand, but then when we experience them, we have an aha moment. And I kind of think that's what death is. I just equated death to a corn dog at the county fair. Listen, y'all, I never said I was right. I never said I was smart. I said I was educated. Those are two very different things. I mean, really, my analogies sometimes are a little too dumbed down, but I enjoy them and I get a kick out of them. I met a woman the other day that had never had a funnel cake. Who was that? Who was that? I mean, she had a funnel cake finally and she loved it. And so we go through life not understanding or not knowing certain things. And then when they happen to us, we realize, oh, it's not as bad, or it's a really good thing, or it was nothing to fear. And I kind of feel like, we're meant to be born, we're meant to pass away. Everybody on the earth does it. So it must be something that's fairly easily to be done, and we just all hope that we have a good life and a good death, and that we have people that love us, that remember us. And so, I don't know. That's where my brain was all week because of how sick I was. I was very sick. It wasn't you. You love him. I can't remember who that was now, but she had never had, she was older than me and had never had a funnel cake. And I was like, what? I was like, what? It's like, I would have made you a funnel cake had you told me that. Can't believe somebody lived that long and didn't eat a funnel cake. Well, if you eat too many. If you eat too many funnel cakes, it might usher in the other issue. Elephant ears. Oh my gosh. See, I love how y'all just remind me of things that I don't always think about. Oh my gosh. I got to run around the yard again today because David's filming the pull-up, and I had to go and check and turn off the hose and check some stuff. And we got a pouring rain, as you saw yesterday on the video, and my vining plants are doing great. He has actually started filling me up another huge, I've lost my words. It's a mineral, it's a cattle mineral container that's 2.5 foot deep and 3 foot round, and the big mineral stuff comes in it. Dad scoops it out, and so after he got done with them, he washed 2 out and gave to me, and I'm making container gardens out of them. And so David's been filling them up with refuse at the bottom to put pot and soil at top. And I'm going to put me some string beans in there, and I'm going to stick them. And then on the far side, I'm going to put sunflowers, and they can either go up the bean sticks or the sunflowers. I don't care which, but that's what I'm going to plant together, and David can get as mad as he wants to, but that's what I'm going to put there, because I ordered red velvet and blue sunflowers, and by God, I'm going to plant them. But I think I have planted well over 750 seeds in my yard and my garden this year. And I did it all before I got sick, so everything is coming up, except for what I last planted in the garden row, which should start coming up in the next 3 to 5 days. So as they start to grow, I'll give you a look in on that. We get our garden out super late because we're in the frost zone, because we live so high up here on the plateau. But we will have a beautiful garden. Don't worry, it will. When it comes in, it just whoosh and grows. And I will take you through the garden season, and I'm going to put up a bunch of fodder beans this year. I don't know if you know what leather britches are, fodder beans, but you literally just string them and dry them and hang them. And they taste different when you cook them. They have kind of a sweet, weird taste, but I'm used to it because that's what I grew up eating, was fodder beans. And so I'm going to put up a bunch of those because they keep so easy. I can hang them from my back porch because it's enclosed, and you just boil them with potatoes and a little bit of ham or bacon all day, and they're great. When I put up a bunch of fodder beans, I'm going to be freezing a bunch of corn. I'm going to be making some jelly. I might pickle some squash, zucchini, and onions. I might pickle some asparagus. It just depends on how my health does when the garden comes in. The stuff that I have to can pressure can, I go down to Mom's because Mom has all the big pressure canners and stuff that I water bath, I do here at home. So we will be going through that as the summer goes on. And I just hope that I have another good spell and I get a lot of stuff done before I have another bad spell. These flares, and I don't necessarily think this was a flare. I think it was an illness that brought on a flare. So I'm hoping that I just can bypass any other illnesses for a while, because I was just hitting my stride and doing really well. So I'm ready to feel better. My energy's coming back, but I've been talking for about an hour now and I'm tired. So I'm going to shut up because Oscar's staring at me because he knows it's time to go potty and he knows that Daddy will be home in about 20 minutes. Red and blue. Oh gosh, I got so many sunflowers. I got the teddy bear sunflowers. I got the Maximilian, like 20-foot high sunflowers that bush out. I got the mammoth sunflowers. I got the maroon, the red velvet, the chocolate, the blue. I think I even got purple. I got the big orange pumpkin zinnias, the old-timey grandma zinnias. And I've got morning glories everywhere in my container garden because David won't let me put them in the ground. So I've got them in my container gardens to go up the trellises. Oh, honey, I've got so many, and I've even got more sunflowers ordered because he put the second garden in the swag where it holds water. So the plants that need more water, he puts them there because it just generally holds water better. And I'm going to plant me another row of sunflowers there. He ain't going to know it, but I'm going to plant them, and then I'm going to tell him after I've done it because I watched how far I planted up close to the fence, and I'm going to make my own little furrow and put them in. So he won't know they're there till they start growing, and then he won't do nothing to them. So, but now he set me a whole row in the garden aside for nothing but flowers, and I do that for my birds because I have so many finches and red-breasted bluebirds. I mean, so many finches and cardinals. I have a lot of cardinals. Oh, pickled asparagus is great. Pickled cauliflower is great. Oh my gosh, y'all ain't living until y'all have pickled asparagus and pickled cauliflower. It is lovely. The first time that my great grandma tried to feed it to me, I thought, you crazy woman, you crazy. And then she said a few words in Cherokee and shoved it in my mouth. And then I was like, oh, you ain't crazy. That's pretty daggum good. So I was raised on pickled asparagus, pickled cauliflower, pickled everything because she water bathed everything. So it had to be pickled. And then Granny pressure cooked and Mama pressure canned. So I do a little bit of both, but if a pressure can, I go to Mom's because she's got the big pressure canners and I ain't lugging them suckers around. And if I water bath, I just water bath can here. So I think Kim and I are going to get together. Her elderberry bushes are looking great so far. So she's expecting to have a huge harvest of elderberry. So we're going to make elderberry jam and jelly. That's the plan. If the birds and the foxes don't beat us to them. And the foxes will eat your grapes and your elderberries quicker than anybody else will. Little turds. So we're going to have to watch and make sure that we keep them propped up and we keep the birds away. And I've got her birthday present halfway done. And the birthday present is to help keep the birds and stuff away from her elderberries. Y'all will understand that when you see it. It's about halfway done. I'm waiting on 2 more strings of lights and then I will let y'all see it. So I've been busy even though I've been down. If I could prop myself up and my back was not hurting too bad and I was not too fevered, I tried to do a few things and hand stitch a few things. But honestly, I was down for the count, and there's 4 or 5 days that just merged together. I don't remember. I can't delineate one from the other. I was very sick. I should have gone to the hospital, but I hated to be a burden and to be an hour away from home and then making David run back and forth to check on me in between the hours he's working and all the days he's working. And so my nurse just amped up her calls here at the house. And then if I had to go in, Kim would come get me and take me in. So it was just easier to do that way. And thank God I do have a nurse that can, comes by my house. So we handled it that way and I got through it. I probably would have been more comfortable had I been in the hospital. But it's just pain, and I deal with pain every day, so I just got through it. It wasn't nothing I couldn't take a day at a time, so I just did. But it was one of the worst sicknesses I've had, and my doctor is still kind of stumped as to what caused it and where it came from and what in the heck happened. And so we're just going to say it's one of them things that happens to me because I'm a strange person, and I have the weirdest body and I have the weirdest medical issues. So it's just what it is. Okay, I'm going to shut up now, but I wanted to show you my pretty pretties that I got done. He looks still kind of mean, but I really do like the painting that I did on it. And I really do like the sheen of the leather concrete and then the beaver handle on it. I really thought that turned out good, but I really love these dangles. So I'm sure whoever gets him will appreciate him and can incorporate him in their costume for their grass dancer or whatever they want to do. I'm going to be making 2 or 3 more ceremonial sticks and maybe a couple of dream catchers. And I hope that I get to go with him because I like to go and talk to people. It just depends on how my energy levels and overall health is. And right now they're keeping me very close to home and keeping a very close eye on me. And I'm pretty much shackled to Jamestown and can't really go anywhere because my doctor's freaking out because he still doesn't understand what happened. So, but that's okay because as I build up more strength, they'll let me go. So as soon as I get the strength and I get the green light, I'm going to go visit Gypsy for a few days and we'll document that and y'all can kind of see the other side of the friendship. I'm looking forward to going actually. But she's going to come visit me first while they've got me shackled to my house. So I am on health house arrest until further notice, but I'm doing good. I'm bouncing back and I'm getting through this. So I'll be trying to make more content and keep you up to date on everything as I can. And David's not going to worry with the Etsy store. He is just going to do vendor sales and just kind of hone his craft this summer. And I think this just, with everything that's happened with me, I think he doesn't want to put too much on his plate, and I understand that. So, but if I ever make something that you really like, you know that you can always message me at Hillbilly Furs, David or me at Answer, and on Facebook, and just let us know what you're looking for. Cindy, I need to take pictures of those bones. I got them out of that bath the other day. I need to take pictures of the bones and see if you want any. And we're just going to take it a day at a time and see how I do. And make sure I don't go backwards. That's the most important thing. So maybe I can wrangle Dave into doing a video here soon. He's just been so busy. You should have seen him the other day in his little swim trunks and his muck boots and his Amish hat and his t-shirt cleaning out my pool. It was the funniest thing. I was like Amish gone wild because he was like, he, had the big straw hat on, farmer tan, and then like white, marble white legs and the big muck boots. And I was like, this is hilarious. It just cracked me up. I took a picture actually and I shared it with Gypsy, but I can't share it with everybody else. David to get me. But it was so funny. And he's such a big burly man, and he knew that I couldn't do that. I had been too sick, but he knew I needed my pool so I could do my physical therapy. And so he just put on his little swim trunks but left his muck boots and tube socks on and t-shirt and Amish hat and climbed into the pool. And I was in the rocking chair watching, and I like to have died laughing. That was the best medicine I think I'd ever had. And I died laughing for like 20 whole minutes. And he was like, "What's so funny?" And I'm like, "You've just got to see yourself." But I have a really good husband. So he's got my pool almost done. We're just waiting on the hoses because I busted one. Because that's just who I am. But I am doing better. So I'm going to finish showing this Cody purse, and then maybe in a night or two, we will start a new ceremonial stick, and we'll do that live. So just enjoy the videos that I put up and the little glimpses into my world until I get the energy to sit here and actually make something, which I've done really well this evening. So it makes me feel positive that things are going to go really good for the next few days. So I'm doing good. I appreciate the thoughts and prayers. Please keep Denise in your prayers. She's going in for a medical procedure very soon. Gypsy's been kind of puny. Gypsy's daughter has had some oral surgery. I still worry about Haley Hopes. I haven't heard from her, and I still worry about her. But just send up some good vibes for everybody. I know Fang was asking for prayers the other day. Send up good vibes for everybody because we're all going through something right now. It's just like, yeah. So we all just need to remember each other and share some love, send some love out, and keep the positive vibes going, because it really does help to know that somebody's there and somebody cares and they're sending you their, their good wishes. So before you go to bed tonight, send out some good vibes to each other. And remember my really good friend Sabrina. She's had a rough couple of weeks with some people and kind of finding her place and understanding society and some of society's lesser kindnesses. And she struggles sometimes, and I've been sick, and so I've not been there to kind of cushion some of the stuff she's gone through, and I feel bad about that. But she's strong and resilient, so I know she'll be okay. But keep her in your thoughts and prayers, because she's doing really important work. She's doing really important stuff for our society, and we need to keep her in our thoughts and prayers. She's a very sweet person, and she's not everybody's cup of tea, but she is very necessary in the world we live in. So she's just had some sadness and some complications, but she'll be okay. And just kind of a little emotional hit for her, but she'll be okay. And I love her to death, and I miss her, and I hope she gets to come see me soon. But I just want everybody to remember her. And if y'all don't remember anything else, and if y'all never see me again, remember, y'all, every one of yous, that's my purse. I love y'all. You're never going to be able to hear that and think anything else but Bobby Hill and me. But somebody does love you. It's me. And whether I'm on this earth or not, I'm still going to love you. I'm still going to be sending you good vibes. So always make sure that you're trying to send out positivity. But sometimes you got to take a stand. Try to do it in a nice way. But you know something? Sometimes you just got to take a stand. But just always remember that I love yins. And even when I'm sick, I'm thinking about yins. And I can't wait till I feel better to come back and talk to yins. So we'll do this again here in a night or two. And I'll try to keep the little snippy videos coming as much as possible. And Oscar's getting a haircut tomorrow, but don't tell him. Shh. Bye, guys.